My name's Lawrence Borkham. We are on my father's property, Windara at Toogong, which is about 45 minutes west of Orange. It's a mixed farming property, 700 hectares. We predominantly sheep. There's 300 hectares every year is cropped, and that's mostly with grazing crops. Our pastures up until now have predominantly been lucerne, which has suited our 600mm rainfall. We are about 400 metres elevation, and our soil types are mostly the sandy clay loams. We have got some particularly rocky outcrops on some gravelly ridges. I went to a seminar run by New South Wales DPI in Orange to get some more information about tropicals. I've been looking for an option to give me some broadleaf control in the summertime. Our lucerne pastures, particularly on the stony paddocks, tend to get overrun with catheads and khaki weed. I think the secret to growing any pasture, whether it's lucerne or your grasses, is weed control. And that was something that was stressed at the seminar. We sowed before a possible rain event that didn't eventuate. We got some up on the moisture that was underneath the stubble, but we had 2 subsequent rain events 4 weeks later, and we got a staggered germination, so we had some plants that were well and truly up and others that were just coming out of the ground. But the wet summer of 2020 meant that they all got going. So when I was sowing, got an old Davy Mac combine that had tines, but because I was going into stubble, I actually purchased some double discs that bolt straight on underneath. It was probably a bad combination of using a new system with a new grass seed. So I was watching too many things. I did have issues with the seed running through the seed box, and in the end I actually mixed some fertiliser with it to get it to run through the churns better. Even though I went to and I was keen to sow it, I was still sceptical about what it would do in my system. I've been very impressed with the job it's done on my weed control in the summertime. It has become very dominant, and it's nearly impossible to find any of those khaki and weed and cathead plants. I'm still getting the hang of the management of it, particularly in these wet summers. It's tended to get away, but I can certainly see some massive potential. And unlike perhaps a lucerne paddock that in heavy storms you can get water runoff, there's no way water's running off in between this stuff. It's incredible plant. So I'm still learning how to use digit with sheep. I've grazed this particular paddock 4 times. It got away on me this summer, but the sheep still moved around and ate what they could, and didn't lose any condition. They looked quite good coming out of it, so I was happy with that. Ideally, I need to keep it shorter to keep the protein levels up, but it's not always possible in a good summer. I am hoping that it will be like lucerne, and when we get a drier summer, that it will produce a good quantity of feed on the small rainfall events and make these paddocks better than what they were. So after my first 2 paddocks, I plan to sow another paddock this year using the same system. I will sow some oats and then spray them out, and I've got another 1, possibly 2 paddocks earmarked to do the next year and the following year. I'm not going to cover the farm with it, but I am going to target paddocks that I have issues with and that I don't like cropping because of all of the stones. The seed is a cost. The first year I bought it, it was quite expensive. It has got a bit cheaper with the better seasons, but I think compared to other pasture seed costs, it's still pretty similar, and if it grows like this, then it's worth it.